dancing to the beat. The girl went wild in the street, and she shouting, dance with me. Jumping up in the steel band, look at things she born in the island.
Dance with me.
Breaking back, bobbing and weaving, like Muhammad Ali boxing.
Dance with me.
I never see such a thing yet, that morning I'll never forget.
Dance with me.
I decide to join the action and accept the invitation. Jump inside of the band, glass of rum in me hand. You should see we how we carry on. Hey.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are locked into WTP 93.5, 93.7 FM, and you're listening to Youth Vibrations. I'm your host, Kamali Mannix, and this week I am joined in studio by an individual who's kind of become a not regular, Miss Joshuanette Francis. Yes, I just turned on the mic. You can tell me fully.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the listening public.
Okay, and so, ladies and gentlemen, as you're very much aware, what just happened in a while? Okay. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Francis is in studio, and she's also the reason why we started late, because I was here about 5:30, and then when I called the good young lady, she was in Timbuk 9 doing the Lord's work. And so as a result of her being in Timbuk 9 and doing the Lord's work, she made my show start almost 30 minutes late. However, I don't intend to lose my little work. And so making sure that the public knows whose fault it is, so that I don't lose my little work. You understand?
Keep your little job, keep your little
money.
money.
Make me hungry in this country, yeah. I have mad. Nonetheless, so ladies and gentlemen, as you are very much aware, every episode has two segments, and the first segment is always 9-day talking, where I put a question to my guests that I come up with on the spot that they don't know about, and during the conversation, you know, I kind of play devil's advocate. Later down in the show, we're going to get to the meat of the matter, which is going to be very interesting. But for now, we're going to be looking at our 9-day talking question. You ready?
Ready.
You sure?
Ready.
Okay, this is going to be scary. So, as we're very much aware, since about 2 weeks ago, our teachers in this wonderful country, those beautiful 1,500 people, were on industrial action. They were doing a sit-in where essentially they just withheld their services from their employer, i.e. the government of Antigua and Barbuda. They had a variety of matters that were the pertinent issues that caused them to not work for a period of time. Now, one of the things that are so interesting is that you saw comments from public officials, you saw comments from individuals on social media, because, you know, social media makes all of us experts on everything and nothing. And you had a small section of people whose comments or abiding feelings were teachers wicked. So then my question...
Wicked like a greenie.
My question this week is essentially this. Are teachers wicked?
So I am not sure how you can owe somebody for 8 years. I'm vexed that a person vexed that you owe them for 8 years. But I really, the maths is not mathsing. I'm not talking about you owe them for like a 2 cheap months, you know. 8 years. How you owe somebody for 8 years? I'm vexed that them vexed. And you're the problem. You're wicked. You wicked. You wickedy!
So I had the interesting opportunity of, because I, unlike most people, outside of working at this lovely place, I'm also a teacher, unfortunately. And so it gives me the opportunity to see everything from multiple different perspectives. And so, I had the opportunity to, to be a teacher, and so you feel, you hear, you understand. Mm-hmm. And then I have the opportunity to be on the outside where you will then hear the media's perception or the public perception of it. And so the teachers went on industrial action because of allowances that in some instances had not been paid for 6, 7, 8 years. And so,
8 years.
And so some individuals were owed some sums that if me to get me the real happy come on work for the rest of the year, me tell you.
Money good.
But sit down and hold that money there and say, work for nobody for the rest of the year, me tell you. So I have to change some people collect, right? And so teachers decided to take industrial action. And then what you heard from the public was the outcry, oh, they should think about the children.
Children know if you're in a...
And big people with IDs or APWA, okay? And then you heard the other argument, oh, but it's almost exam time. How then go so wicked for strike during
Then
exam
good,
time?
then good.
And I sat down and I am not a person who's going to argue people in the Facebook comments and all that kind of stuff. So me now go under one post to say, oh no, I retarded, hush I'm out, them kind of things. I really just observe. But it was interesting. So how do you respond to those people that said that? You know, we must put the children first.
No, you have to respond how you owe somebody for 7, 8 years and vex that a person vexed that you owe them. How would you feel? And I find that society can be very hypocritical. The students are going to bounce right back. They're fine. We did COVID, so we know they're going to bounce back.
Yeah, there is.
We have had plenty hurricanes. We have had plenty days when schools closed down because there was no water. We have students going to school and they're not being taught because there's no teacher.
Yeah.
And they're fine. They are fine. I find that in this country, we do not stand up for what is right.
We stand up for what is right, but it affects us.
I don't even think we do that because I'm pretty sure that there were teachers who went to teach. I know at least 5 teachers who were supposed to be striking that were probably engaging students. And the issue is we don't understand the importance of industrial actions. Industrial actions are not working against the government. It's not working against students. It's people standing up for what is right.
And my thing is this. I hear the argument of, but think about the children. Okay, so let me put it to you from 2 perspectives. One, the teacher first has to think about themselves.
Correct. Mental health.
Because a teacher who's not functioning properly works just as well as a classroom with no teacher, I'm telling you. Because when a teacher is working on 0, that is it. No learning at all happening inside the class. The teacher's there physically and that's it. So the most they're providing is supervision. And the second half of it that I always ask people to look at is you're saying to teachers, think about the children. Most of these teachers are parents.
Correct.
So they have children.
Correct.
And their children need to eat and live and survive and have electricity and have water and have internet and have all of these.
Stop there. They were fighting for things that were rightfully to keep them safe. So let's just ensure. So even before you go on the rant, a teacher who's working in the chemistry lab has the right to lab coats.
It protects them.
Correct. So is it fair that a teacher for 8 years would have been tugging it out without a lab coat?
Or buying one at their
expense. What about the teachers who teach agriculture? Suppose I hold chop off them foot. I want far because they're supposed to get boots. Let's talk about home economics. So there are teachers who are supposed to get allowances for gears to protect them. Is it fair that they were not given that allowance to get that gear to protect them, to teach people's children, and some of them had children to go home to? Who's really benefiting here? The teachers are literally fighting for students too, because protecting myself is also protecting you. You know, when you fly, if anybody has flied, you know they say, you ensure that you
put on your ear mask, even if your mama, your papa, your picnic,
your granny.
Put on for your first.
Correct.
And every other matter will come after
Correct.
you. If you want to complete, nobody else can survive.
Correct.
Right? And I don't think people get it because it was interesting, but I say this too. I think as individuals in public space in particular, we need to learn how to restrain ourselves sometimes, because we might often think we're lending our voice to a cause without realizing that we're making a situation worse. Yeah, because when I saw the demonization of teachers and the characterization of teachers as self-centered and I even saw the comments from cabinet particularly saying the teachers' industrial action is disproportionate to the gravity of the matter, and so hey, you shouldn't go up and strike because of one, there's power in solidarity. 2, this country was built on trade unionism.
Correct.
And 3, if my co-worker has a gripe, me have one gripe.
Correct.
Too.
Could there be one man left? Work without a one man get paid.
Right.
And let me tell you, people don't understand the importance of standing together.
Yeah.
If you stand for nothing,
that's it.
You fall for anything. And let us ensure people understand context. 8 years, 5 years, 7 years. We're not talking about allowances. We're not talking about their salaries. The teachers were not striking for their salaries.
yeah.
They were striking
I'll go
for
ponder one day. I'll
their
go ponder one.
allowances.
Right.
Is it fair that you are employed by your employer, whether it's the government or a private sector? Let's say you work in a bar, and the bar is supposed to provide you with a blender so that you can blend the drinks. They do not provide you with the best blender. So
they tell you they want a knife every day, a cut, a cut, or a piece of stone, or a piece of stick, and you mash.
It's not right. It's not right. It's like the men who work outdoors and they're supposed to have on boots. You ever see? I recognize even the men. If anybody haven't noticed, the men who deliver your bill for APOA, all of them have on hard boots.
Yeah.
Is it right that APOA hires men? They're supposed to get steel toe boots, and APOA say, "Well, I don't have no money now, so we want tennis go."
Whether electrical wire or wherever you come across, live with it.
Let us talk about different professions. Let's talk about a nurse. How can she draw blood without a needle? How can she draw blood without gloves? Like teachers, they need these things. And
then this was what was even more entertaining to me. We so you owe me. That's a one. You claim you make provisions to pay me, and then you put my security at risk. Why? Because you come broadcast one list to John Public.
Oh Lord.
That individual A, B, C, D, E, F, G over 100 near.
Oh Lord.
These are the people that the government owes money to. And so if I was an individual, let's say I live in a community that has unscrupulous characters, and they see me for my name on the list and they say, wow, yeah man, uncle hold on big money. Then me I go walk home one night, next thing me know,
boom,
cut up. Because somebody feel that I see one son this morning. So they feel them and he hold one money.
No, but and then you see, we were having, and I've said this publicly so many times, I cannot wait for the day that we start to fire people in this system. And ironically, we were actually talking about this when I was here the last time, and I don't think people understand how things go. A lot of the times, and our Prime Minister said so in Cabinet, the ministers don't really know what's happening now.
Correct.
It's the people inside of the office with responsibilities. And I grew up hearing, up to now, government workers can't get fired, people custom to no work, and our Prime Minister pops you. So you know that I'll never they lie. Our Prime Minister say, tap shield them.
The exact same thing.
Tap shield them.
The exact same
Fire
thing.
them. Then I work, fire them.
And then he adds to it. And so at the end of this whole saga, the permanent secretary, who at the time had responsibility for Ministry of Education, was transferred to another ministry, right? And the cabinet spokesperson came out and he, said, oh no, it's just routine. I'm just like, yeah, it's routine, and Tanti has been there for like 8 years, but now it's routine. Okay, no problem. Because a PS's tour of duty at a ministry is usually about 2 years. Literally. PS's tour of duty is maybe 2-3 years, and then they shift you around.
No, but again,
but
PSs again. So I know that PSs have their role to play, but then the little men also have their. But very controversial. Our Prime Minister went onto Cabinet and he said, "I will back pay everybody from 2018." So everybody and then Granny is supposed to collect a check in December. Myself and many other government workers have not collected that check. I went to the Ministry of Education and I spoke to the accounts department because I'm assuming money means accounts. The accounts department says, you got to go to Treasury. It's not happening here. You go down to Treasury and Treasury says you're supposed to go back to accounts.
We only pay when we get vouchers from ministry.
Okay. I go back to accounts, education. No! It's not. We don't handle that part. That part is done by Treasury. We only did what the Treasury said. So at this point, I've been to the Ministry of Education twice. I'm gonna go back to Treasury again. Who is responsible for ensuring people get their money? Because I'm assuming, I'm talking for me. I'm talking for myself or the 5 or 6 other friends that I have that never get the money in December. And then when I go to the Treasury, the guy says it's not just education. There are also different departments where people were not paid. That not had nothing to do with the Prime Minister. That not had nothing to do with Daryl. That That have to do with the people in the different offices. And let's be fair, okay, mistakes happen. Nobody was paid. So I have maybe 50, 20 people who were not paid. What are we doing? I literally asked the lady, so are you going to take my name?
And put it on a document.
I just say that I wasn't paid.
So that I can get my money.
Are you gonna put? You know, me one beggar. So you need my friend and their name too. So I start to call them. Them don't get the money either. So now that's me.
Remember what
Trees,
I said.
they got the money. Can't they get the money?
Remember what I said last week. No, my greatest advice to the Minister of Education: just call one press conference and say, "John Public, on this side of the table, we have the senior staff of the Ministry of Education. Ladies and gentlemen, on this side of the table, we have the Antigua and Barbuda Union of Teachers. I have nothing to do with this."
No, because he doesn't write letters. He doesn't do vouchers.
I'm not responsible. So I'm going to allow individual over here and individual over here to state their case, and then you will determine who really responsible.
And again,
and the reality of the situation is the government of Antigua and Barbuda.
So I was also saying, Manix, maybe it's controversial. I was also saying, okay, so maybe you have to go to cabinet to get approval to payment of certain money. Okay, fine. You have to go and approve it because you know we have limited resources and we can't pay everybody. Isn't it the people in the accounts department's responsibility to keep a listing of the things that have not been paid for? Like, for instance, you recognize 1 year passing a penal allowance. Okay, fine. 2 years passing a penal allowance. You know penal letter year 3? I mean, well, I want to inform you that the allowances were not paid. You know penal letter to the minister at this. Because remember, he no. Mm-hmm. So I am thinking how system should work.
At this point, but here's the thing. When those things happen, at some point, because our civil service is very complicated, yeah, in terms of how individuals and responsibilities are designated. At some point in time, an SAS in accounts department had to realize. At some point in time, that SAS had to tell a PAS. At some point in time, a PAS had to tell a PS. And at some point in time, the ABU team in tell one PS or one PAS or whoever the SB at the end of the name. You hear me tell you? And so you can't tell me that a year ago, me tell you, hey, you owe our one heavy amount of money. So you upgrade our way as you're supposed to. And yeah, I'd look back to you. Thank you very much. Because no, you know, I owe you nothing. However, there's still, this is the thing over here that is unresolved, that is creating problems, and we need this addressed because this is a problem. You gave, and this is the problem when people say, oh, teachers just strike. The teachers notified the ministry that, hey, you know, pay our allowance. There were multiple conversations had between the union and the Ministry of Education, and then only when all else has failed.
No, only when he blow up. Only when he blow up. Because what happens is a lot of these conversations happened in the background.
In meetings. As big people. And then big people go on media and say crap.
And then nobody should be upset. So now everybody's upset. Teacher strike. But you're not taking into consideration that before the strike,
all the efforts that were made to resolve the matter.
All of the communication that was sent, all that was done, because what sometimes, and this is what happens with negotiations, you gotta negotiate in the background. When you and the man in the bed, every wedding I've been to, the advice is do not tell nobody what happened inside, do not go to sleep angry. These are the advices that they give the married couple, and it happens in our system. These conversations are not public. The ministry knew that teachers were going to strike. They knew.
Whenever strikes are going to happen,
they knew.
A letter is sent. We're going to withhold service by such and such a time if XYZ is.
They knew.
And who are those letters sent to?
No, but I'm learning.
Who are those letters sent to? Who are they addressed to? Not the minister. Who are they addressed to? The permanent secretary.
Look, and you tell me, let's be practical. You get the letter to say that we're going to strike. You not calling everybody, pulling all the documents. I can't see who I owe. I can't see what I can do. I can't do the letter yet.
Last time, don't look a thing.
Hello, at this point you call the minister. Well, minister, I'm going to even approve some overtime.
Because this is the letter I just get.
Yeah.
Things go wrong here a little bit.
Yeah.
So
before we get to the point of striking, let us try to make a pay some people some overtime. You know our government famous for that. Anytime a month, 10 time and things are done, then treasury staff get some overtime. You have to make sure the money in the bank account. You will tell me that I couldn't do that. I had to get to the point of a nasty, dirty strike. And then you know what people don't understand? Standing up for your rights does not mean you are at war. We are not at war.
It also doesn't mean that you're anti-government.
And it doesn't it doesn't mean you're anti-government. It doesn't mean you're at war. And it doesn't, you might be angry. However, you have the right to stand up for what is rightfully yours. It is wrong that you owe somebody for 8 years. 8 years, 7 years, 5 years.
Me even anybody owe me for 8 days. May tell you the honest truth. So, me the type of person, me no lend people money. You hear me tell you?
Mama borrow $200.
Say, yo, give me me give you no. Me give you because me no, okay, me not expect come back.
But when you say borrow.
Oh, look, Josh, they like about me. I'm going to sleep and when they wake up in the middle like, you know, Josh, you know, me $20. I know, me realize. I want to joke it all. I mean, we message you 1 o'clock in the morning. Yo, when you left yard for go work, just pass the ATM and bring me $20 again, please. That's how me function. So somebody tell people that, okay, oh, me lend your money. No. How much you want to say you want? 200, okay, me na 200, look, $100. Yeah, see you later. Because then kind of Sunday bother me. You owe people. And it's what they're owed for. The principals of the deputies in particular.
Protection.
They were owed a travel allowance because every principal and deputy is paid an allowance because of the fact that, you know, the principal and deputy, they do the running up and down and get this for school, get that for school, their whole story. Oh, guess what? When the teachers and them that work like the son of man, the principal might say, okay, hold on $50, you know, because you run up and down and do this and that for the school. Fine.
But Manex, before you even carry on, people need to know teachers are not paid for extracurricular activities.
Oh, no, we're not.
So when you have to drive and get to these extracurricular activities, and let us be fair, the principals get into their vehicle, panorama, into school, sports day, go to ministry for meeting,
football game, basketball game, volleyball
Lord.
game, every kind of game,
everything then day,
drama festival, teen splash, youth rally, everything. And I'm just like,
and the liquor fuel then support, the liquor money then supposed to get for buy the fuel for 5 years. You haven't given them that. So for 5 years they've been footing that bill, and you don't think it is fair
to give it to them
that they stand up and say, give me my money.
I'm going to make one petty comment. The funny thing about it is, so there's a problem with giving principals and deputies and certain teachers their allowances. Certain classes of senior civil servants are entitled to certain allowances, like duty allowance and so on. I can bet you if the same senior civil servants that were angry about teachers going on protest, if you check, all the allowances are paid up to date. Make it even worse. When you're a senior civil servant, you tend to travel a lot.
Oh,
and
Lord.
99.9% of them do not hop on a plane and leave this country
Without the allowance.
until they have received that money. You know, I tell you, unless they get that money in hand.
But I will also say I'm learning in this world, in this realm. There are going to be people who understand. There are going to be people who want to understand. There are going to be people who do not understand. They genuinely don't understand because they don't know. They don't know.
They genuinely know.
Then genuinely know. And then they're going to be the loud people
who don't know, who don't understand but talk.
No,
plenty.
no. They understand. They understand. They
just
have
mean
the
for
facts.
wicked.
They mean. They mean. I don't know if I have the right to say that on the radio, so I'm not going to say.
One tell a bad word.
And now, kiss asses. They mean, no matter what the government do, they're right. Like, how can you be, and then I also show, it shows lack of you. You can't support a party and telling them wrong. You can support the government and tell the government wrong. You can support somebody and say, you are wrong. And if you are a supporter, and you cannot tell somebody they're wrong, you're really not a supporter. Friends are people who can tell you, which I will tell you, my friends will tell me one of my problems is I need to control my anger. I need to have less passion sometimes. No cost too bad word, working on it. And that came from a friend giving me hardcore advice. And that is the problem I have in this country. We cannot tell people when they're wrong. Mm-mm. And even when all the facts say they're wrong. Oh, God, tell it. You owe somebody for 7 years. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. Lord! And then now, of course, 25, then comes to 24. There were people who owed for 7 years. 7 years. 7 school years, 7 years of driving to all of these extracurricular activities, 7 years of going into the lab, 7 years of going to the farms. And you don't think they deserve the little money, Jack? And you are saying to me, you cannot be rational enough to say, well, I don't really like that them strike, no, but I understand.
Instead, we attack teachers, and teachers are the problem. I saw one Facebook comment that came from an individual who's a frequent Facebook commenter. That's the best way. That's the only thing I'm going to describe the individual as. And they're ranting and raving, and I'm saying to myself, the Antigua and Barbuda Union of Teachers, and I have no authority to speak on their behalf because I'm not an executive member. I'm just a member by default.
By default, you didn't say.
By default, because I'm a teacher. No, the Union of Teachers did not go out on media and said, oh, we're striking against the government, or we're doing this, or we're doing that, or we have a problem with the Antigua and Barbuda, the Labour Party, or whatever the situation is. And regardless as to whoever persuasion is, whether they're upon the Executive and Teachers Union or they're members of the Teachers Union, we're all Antiguans and Barbudans. We have our political allegiance, left, right, centre, middle, in between. Nobody cares. To use it as a justification as to why you think industrial action happened. Really and truly, it's just kind of...
And another big problem why our country isn't progressing is we make everything political.
Yeah.
A lot of things are not political. Somebody standing up for their rights is not political. It is their human right.
It is. 'Cause you should.
But we make everything political. We make everything red and blue. Like... Do you know that red and blue are why we're in a democracy? Do you know that there's a need for a government and an opposition? Do you know the power
No, there's
that...
no need. They serve no purpose.
I don't think people understand the power that the opposition holds and the power that the government holds. Actually, our said Prime Minister has made public statements for a need for a strong opposition. So for the people in there who think that the opposition is needed, the man in charge himself has said publicly there is need for a strong opposition. Because a strong opposition also gives us leverage when we go overseas for beg money. It gives us leverage in different places that people know decisions are not just made by one person and be all and say all. Like...
That's where we are, and that's how we process. The good thing is, though, so the teachers have returned to work because everybody has received their little monies. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of the people in the line
Neither
to receive
me.
their little monies. I'm now rethinking the subject that I chose to teach. But then, we couldn't teach homework, but they never teach art because nothing about me creative.
Agree.
And then I can't teach science subjects because, well, okay, but I can tell you the problem with agri. If I argue like first or second form, I can work with you. But you see, agri at upper level, no. Integrated science at upper level, hell no. Because me now do 21 SBA for nobody. Me very sorry. Me in K, how much money you pay me, me now do on me. I tell you.
And you know, one of the
there's certain
SBAs, 80
subjects-
something SBAs
Okay.
for.
So then if you have, and you see, let us continue to look at the wickedness and how people don't love teachers. Every single student is doing CSEC integrated science has to do at least somewhere around 21 SBAs. That means that one teacher, if they have 10 students, has to mark 210 SBAs, right? And that is teaching, taking them into the lab, teaching them this, finding the pig heart or the cackle heart or if people that then go use during their assignment, going over, correct this, correct that, 210 times. And then people have the heart to say, oh, then
You know, deserve the little money for the lab coat.
and then the Lord picking here go. And what was so funny to me is the same set of people who are vocal are the same set of people whose children came back to school. Oh yes, that assignment I gave you all 3 weeks ago, that was due the Friday. Where is it? Oh, sir, you know, me even do that day. Me even think about that day. Oh, me on vacation. Oh, me there ride bike. Oh, me and my mommy me go work. And these are the things that you battle. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to go into part 2 of today's episode. We're going to be talking about a very interesting development with, what do you call it? With Good Humans 268. I said interesting development, and that's my statement, and that's what I'm sticking to. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very quick break. You've been listening to The Vibrations here on WTP 90.5, 90.7 FM. I'm your host, Kamali Manic. Stay locked and stay tuned.
And push it back, get crazy, like say Stephen Clutch. Girl, I push back, push back, push back, push back, push back, push back. In a trance, want to dance first time. The girl go hear a steel band. This young girl from Switzerland come down just to get a suntan. In time to witness a Juve morning. See thousands on the street dancing. Just standing there, she listening to the beat. The girl went wild in the street. And she shouting, dance with me. Jumping up in the steel band. You go think she born in the island.
Dance with me.
Breaking back, bobbing and weaving like Muhammad Ali boxing.
Dance with me.
I never see such a thing yet. That morning I'll never forget.
Dance with me.
I decide to join the action and accept the invitation. Jump inside of the band, glass of rum in me hand. You should see we how we carry on. Hey. Creating confusion in the heat of the 25th carnival. She tall and slim, so she winding, twisting up, all in front of the band. People start to gather round when she limbo low to the ground. Even the carnival committee was amazed. Juve morning she got scratched like a stage. And she bawling, dance with me. Jumping up in the steel band. You go think she born in the island.
Dance with me.
Breaking back, bobbing and weaving like Muhammad Ali boxing.
Dance with me.
I never see such a thing yet. That morning I'll never forget.
Dance with me.
I decide to join the action and accept she invitation. Jump inside of the band, blast a rum in me hand. You should see we how we carry on.
WTP Radio, Antigua.
It's been 1 year, and we're still here to serve you. The Little Village Pharmacy in Sweets Village for all your pharmaceutical needs. And remember, we do free sugar and blood pressure checks daily. And not forgetting Valve, Superette, and Deli with our daily breakfast and lunch specials. The Superette opens from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays to Thursdays and close at 9:30 on Fridays and Saturdays. And 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. The pharmacy opens 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a Sunday. For more information, you can call 562-9476. It's Val, Superette, and Deli and the Little Village Pharmacy in Sweets Village.
State insurance. State insurance is for all our we. It doesn't matter where you're from or who you be. State insurance better for sure. We are happy to celebrate a more than 4 decades of existence with you, the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Happy 48th anniversary, State Insurance. Oh, how I love you so. State Insurance better for sure.
Matter of Fact, a program geared towards discussing the issues, constructive dialogue, answering your questions and concern. Matter of Fact, every Thursday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on WTP Media Network 93.5 and 93.7 FM. With hosts Nambulumbu Nambulala and guests. Matter of Fact, discussing issues locally, regionally, and internationally, and how these issues affect you. Matter of Fact. Tune in and listen.
Hi there, I am DJ Governor Slim, inviting you to join me for your Nighttime Groove, Mondays through Thursdays from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. and on Saturdays for your weekend mashup from 1 until 3 on WTP Media Network 93.5, 93.7 FM to the world at www.wtpantigua.com.
This is the Review 268, a show designed to give you 3 different viewpoints on a variety of topics. Now, topics can range from what's happening on the island, what's the latest buzz in social media, books, movies, and even anime. Join us each and every Saturday afternoon from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on WTP 93.5 FM. Come, get involved, be a part of the conversation. We're looking forward to it.
Hi, this is Sly the Chief Rockin' J. Join me every morning, Monday to Friday from 7 o'clock on WTP FM 93.5. Your mornings will never sound like this again.
.5 and 93.7 FM. WTP.
And we are back with Youth Vibrations here on WTP 93.5, 93.7 FM. I feel shorty, but man, make it old.
The AC is it's cold. It's very cold in here.
That's probably the problem. For real. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Wait for the Facebook Live to switch over. Right. So, we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, about 2 weeks ago, Miss Jocelynette Francis was on our show. We were talking about some of the the recent activities that Good Humans 268 was involved in, because you had the Queen, not the Queen, Lord, she done dead.
King.
The Commonwealth, yes. A whole plastic expo. Have a, when she was queen for so long, so you kind of forget after a while that he about. Right. And, we left on high notes talking about good things and wonderful things, and we're all excited about what is to come for Good Humans 268, because, we were all hyped up and excited. And then I saw Jocelynette's status, and I laughed and then I cried. And I had no choice but to laugh, because sometimes in Antigua, if you don't laugh, you go crazy.
And ironically, you're starting off on that note. And then, 2 days ago, so I've been in constant communication with the individuals who are in charge of the King's Baton going around the Commonwealth. And in a big things, upon Royal Commonwealth Society page, they say Antigua and Barbuda host powerful plastic awareness expo. I didn't even see the art. I didn't write it. So I didn't know what was in there. And I like to tell people, and I've said so, nothing is perfect, but we're trying. Mm-hmm. And some days trying is enough. And I went to a shop the other day. Javez loves this gentleman's meatball and chicken. So I'm going to go buy the Javez some meatball and chicken. And the man said, how things are going. And I was, you good, money good. And the man said, the hardest part is already gone. Because the hardest part to anything is starting.
Yeah.
When you start,
seems tough.
It also takes balls, because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And we started. And it's not going well. However, we move from not going well to shut down, cancelled.
So tell people then what happened.
So I was issued so let's ensure people know. So we have a recycling program. We received past tense grant funding from Sandals and Jeff Small Grants. How funding works. If the project costs $2, they're going to give you one, and you must show how you're going to get the other one. So our project is valued at about $400,000. And our sustainability component was the plastic-free initiative. Mm-hmm. So we would sell our bottles like everybody else that we collect at Epicurium, at Crab Hole, wherever. We started our program September 2023. The plastic-free initiative closed December 2023. So you, like the teachers, you don't go on the public and curse. You go on you go in the office and you and the person have one conversation, and then you leave knowing that the two of you are on the same page. And we're told, no worries, Joshua Net, the program is going to open back in February. You have to go ahead. February comes, and myself, Sir Malwin, the Governor General, all of us go to Johnny's. We look nice. When we actually on the same skirt, yeah. It will be a nice session. And then Sir Malwin said, don't close the program. The plastic free is going to open back in June. So bear in mind that that was our sustainability component. Mm-hmm. So we've been running unlimited to no money, but we were still going. Sir Malwin says to us, no worry, you open back June. Open back June. The school year is about to begin for year 2. We don't have no money. Summer, I go all the meetings to everybody. Again, the public doesn't know this because this is not the public's business. That's not how you operate. Mm-hmm. Sir Malwin says to us, don't close down. He gets on the phone in my presence and they make arrangements to give us $60,000. So the idea is they give us $60,000 and we're going to give them bottles in return. So it's an exchange. You give me money, I give you bottles, because that is how the Plastic Free Initiative was built. The workmen started coming since July 24th to be specific, and the workmen said to us they did not want to sort the bottles in John Hughes. They wanted to sort them at Abrek. So we bagged all the bags, and then we moved them to Abrek. Abrek is Antigua and Barbuda Waste Recycling Corporation. Remember, we're no longer on Good Humans territory. We're now in new grounds. When we get there, we sort the bottles based on the Abrek standards. So Abrek is green, blue, clear, HDPE bottles. However, we're told that we sorted the bottles incorrectly and we needed to sort them based on the Plastic Free Initiative. So the Plastic Free Initiative requires us to sort them by brand, by size. So Oasis, who has 4 size of bottles, you have to sort them and put all of those bottles into the bag. So they pay us for Oasis, Gundrops, iCool. They pay us for soda, like 12 or so brands that we get paid for. And then you need them to be clean. I have never worked at Abrek, so I didn't know. However, when I get there, I want you to visualize it, Manix. You've seen the bags. You've seen pictures. We have a bag of bottles, and the bag of bottles has in 100 bottles. The bottles that we get paid for, those 12 brands, we're going to take them out of that bag, wash them, and the bottles that we don't get paid for, we're going to go and crush them together. Mm-hmm. So we're crushing clean and dirty bottles together. So Lucozade, for instance, for us to get that 20 cents, we need to cut off the plastic for the Lucozade bottle. However, if somebody donates Lucozade bottles to Abrek, they're not cutting off the plastic and we're going to crush them together. So we're crushing clean, because remember, there are 2 different standards.
Yeah.
So while there are 2 different standards, at the beginning, at the end, all of them come together. Mm-hmm. So obviously that doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. Like logically, economically, it makes no sense what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So I report that because it's not making any sense. I am told the workmen are supposed to come from 7 a.m. to 2 every day. The workmen say they never work to 2 o'clock, then they don't work 12 o'clock every day. If you don't work 12 o'clock, and you're supposed to work to 2 o'clock, that means every week, that's 10 hours. Then you come late, 15. Then all the breaks you take, 20. So remember, the government with the money and the agreement, we need to move bottles, So we had a problem with the sorting. We had a problem with the workmen. And me, as an Antiguan, badad, we cannot be crushing clean and dirty bottles together. Mm-hmm. We cannot be paying workmen who are not working. So I go and I send messages and I pop up at offices because I need to have this conversation because it's not working. You know what they label me as? Aggressive, annoying, one grango. I'm said, I come to meetings and want for bully rag people. No, what happened is I know the system corrupt. you pay workman for years. And then now really work. And I ain't never seen a problem with them. So now you give me those same workmen. I have high standards for them. So I want them to come for 7 o'clock. It is a high standard. You don't think it's a high standard. I want them to come for 7 and I want them to leave at 2. I want them to do what work is supposed to be done. But I want them to drink and smoke on the job. I want to ensure that we're working. So Good Humans also had its set of workers that decide that them they now make sense. So I have Good Humans workers who don't make sense, the government workers who don't make sense, 2 different starting standard, crushing clean and dirty bottles. So obviously you know that the system now makes sense. So after lots of conversations, National Solid Waste Management Authority writes me November 4th first. And this is after the breakdown now, because now Joshua Net is the problem. It's not that what we're doing doesn't make sense. It's Joshua Net is the problem. So you write me for say, you come and then I was told in a meeting, Joshua, you are the problem. I was told those exact, you are the problem because you want it in the kitchen and outside. You want to dictate how we take your bottles. Because you want to give us dirty bottles. I say, I don't want to give you a dirty bottle now. Me willing to give you the clean back. My brain just can't process crushing dirty bottles and clean bottles together. If we're going to wash the bottles, why aren't we? Why are there 2 different standards?
Yeah, we're supposed to be washing all of them go dirty.
It's either all and clean.
Or all of them dirty.
Okay. Because let us be realistic. We live on a small island with limited resources. Does it make sense? Take 20 bottles out of a bag, wash the bottles and then crush them with dirty bottle. I say, Charky outside, and Charky, an old man, Charky, wipe off the bottle of them because they say they have to wash them. I say, Father God, you are crazy people. And again, this goes back to the point that we're making. Obviously, the general manager for solid waste wouldn't know this information. You know why? She's not on the ground. So, it is my responsibility. You gave me the workmen. So it is my responsibility to report to you what is happening on the ground. But instead of trying to fix the problem, you make me be the problem. There is no way. And I said to her at one point, come to Abrek yourself. Come and see what I'm saying. Because I don't think the videos and the pictures that I've sent to you, you understand that they're crushing the dirty bottles. We went to Rise. Rise had bottles with paint. I'm going to send you the video. I'm going to say, look the dirty bottle them from Breakfast Fete, from Rise, then crush them with the clean bottles. That don't make no sense. So, problem September, problem October, problem August, September, October. I go on the lovely CIBC Walk for Cure, and then I go up to Abrek, and you see workers, you see people, you have to keep people place clean. So then a case, I'm going to go myself. I'm going to pack up all the bag of them nice, I'm going to pick up everything, I'm going to make the place look good because, I bad at me. Up they look bad, and I bad at me. Me go clean up myself the Sunday morning. I get a call the Monday, and I'm told from Devon, so Devon manages Abrek says, National Solid Waste Management Authority does not run here. All the bottles that you have, we're going to crush them, and you need to work out your situation with Abrek. Because we have been telling you we do not need to sort the bottles based on how Solid Waste is asking you to sort
So he just wants bottles?
He just want them. He no care about all the chuppies. He no care about Oasis and Guntra. He no care about that. But the Plastic Free Initiative is collecting data, and the Plastic Free Initiative is only paying for certain types of bottles. So you have to sort. If you want the 20 cents, you have to sort based on the Plastic Free Initiative way. Mm-hmm. They crushed all of our bottles. We were also told, don't bring any more bottles until we rectify the situation. So now, we're at crisis. Remember, we've been at crisis mode, We're not a big crisis mode. But again, the public doesn't know about it because it's not the public's business. I get up, I show up, and we get things done. I write the government. I write the National Solid Waste Management Authority to be specific. 11th November, 18th November, 14th January, 27th January. All of my letters, I'm saying, you gave us $60,000. However, we don't have any more money. What we need from you is assistance to get the bottles sorted. So we need manpower. If you give me $60,000, logical people, and there was confusion with the sorting, the workman, and all kind of confusion, we had to pay people. Was it the most effective use of the $60,000? No. But because you give me $60,000 and it wasn't effective, that means that you're not giving me no more money? If you give me no more money, how do I pay workers? If I don't have money, how do we solve the problem of John Hughes? How do we solve the problem? Because remember, the minister, me we willing for lockdown December 2023. No, don't lock down. Continue. February 2024. No, don't lock down. June 2024. No, don't lock down. August 2024. No, don't lock down. So technically, we've been collecting bottles for a whole year and they were not being moved. When we finally began to move the bottles, we encountered some difficulties. Okay, I'll encounter the difficulties. We don't talk about them. And now move on now. And now plan. So now I write the 11th, I write the 18th, I write the 14th. Because obviously, I'm assuming that is how business works. We had a little shambles. Okay, you want us to wash the bottles and you're going to crush them with dirty bottles, but now fight the fight. Okay, I'm going to do that. The workman and then now work, give me workman. Okay, fine, you keep your workman and give me some money so that I can pay workmen that I can fire. Because, people who don't work need to get fired. However, I write the government, so I'm writing. No point I'm talking about this publicly because it's not the public's business. However, I'm issued a cleanup order. And when Taji came to John Hughes, I said to Taji, why didn't you have a conversation with Solid Waste? Because we've been in conversation with Solid Waste. Solid Waste should be able to tell you what's the problem that we're having. Taji says to me, they normally have a meeting on a Thursday. Don't come tomorrow, come next week Thursday. And I go to CBH. And myself, Daryl Spencer, Sharon, Taji, and another lady is in a room. And I go and I'm explaining the same thing. Sharon was actually in and out of the meeting because she was on her phone. When Sharon comes back in the room like any other person who has common sense, why not have two certain standard? Why are we crushing clean and dirty bottles? Why mean the workman and then
Sharon is who?
Sharon is the chief health inspector.
Okay.
So now every person who've heard the story is asking the same questions because it's not making sense. She says to me, Joshua, write to us. So I write on the 16th of April to CBH. I write to CBH explaining the problem and saying, we need support of the government to move the contents from John Hughes. I see Sharon again because I go down to you to represent Antigua. All kind of things that happen. We're still moving because you don't encounter a problem and then you just shut down your program.
And surrender.
So I represent Antigua and Barbuda at the OEC Environmental Forum down at UE for 3 long days from 8 a.m. to 4. I'm there talking about recycling and how we're doing it. And, you don't talk about your problems outside. So they don't know the problems. I meet Sharon again. And Sharon said, Joshua, when I come, we had the same conversation, the same. And she can't understand what make her to start. She can't understand the word. She can't understand.
Who controls plastic free initiative?
The Ministry of Health.
Oh.
So the Ministry of Health controls plastic free initiative. So Indira was the point person. Indira was not the general manager for solid waste at that point. But she's now the general manager for solid waste. So she has general manager for solid waste plus plastic free.
So she has 2 sets of responsibilities to deal with.
Correct. So Sharon said to me, down at UE, when I come back, we're going to have a conversation. So I leave it alone. I don't say nothing because, I've mentioned it. So let's be fair. So when I was I mentioned it to the UN. I've mentioned it to Sandals. And I mentioned it to Kieran. I mentioned it. And I said, well, this is what we might be shutting down, blah, 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 blah. But, and I nothing. Come and tell them publicly say nothing. Because to me, You know how much business got shut down today and tomorrow, then jackpot. Like whoever won that lotto. Like, you broke today, how money tomorrow? What we need now is the government support. So me home at work. I didn't even know Daryl was on the ear. Daryl was on the ear, and Daryl said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. He says
Who
that...
said that? Who said that? Mm-hmm. Who?
Daryl Spencer, the Deputy Chief Health Inspector. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. There's a possibility of harboring up to 40 different roaches. We're in the waterway. We're causing more damage than we are causing good. Remember, Daryl is on the Sharon. And me and Sharon talk. And Sharon said, just write to me, make I see what can happen. I haven't spoken about it publicly. Even if Observer called you, well, we are working on it. We will discuss it, and then we will have a public statement about it.
And you press on.
Yep. Okay. Because that is how professionalism go. I am not talking about it. You are not talking about it. But once you talk about it, now I have to talk about it. I'm going to tell you a lie. You lie. I want in the waterway. I will not have a rats. I will not have a mosquito. And I have been asking the government for help even before the program started. You as CB, remember, our program falls under the Ministry of Health. CBH falls under the Ministry of Health. The Department of Health falls under the Ministry of Health. National Solid Waste Management Authority falls under the Ministry of Health. So if a program within your broader parameters is having a problem,
everybody literally works in the same space.
Isn't it your responsibility for all our we come together, took Mumbaga and Sam, and talk about how we solve the problem? Because the problem in John Hughes can be solved. The problem in John Hughes is which we've written to the government, to National Solid Waste, saying we don't have money. What we need is money to pay workers so that we can move. So this document here, you see, 231 pages, emails, letters asking for help. Because you know what? It's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to write you. I'm going to send you a message. So when Daryl gets on the media, and I'm just like, so Solid Waste has a copy of this. CBH has a copy of this. Well binded too. So how do you get on the media and make a public statement and not make reference to the fact that I've been asking for help? And if you're thinking, which I am also thinking, that I want the bottles moved and there's a possibility of a risk. Hurricane happen all the time. There's a risk. We live in a small, a hurricane can come and wipe out all our we. And what we do to mitigate that risk is we build stronger homes. When hurricane season come, we batten down our house. So John Hughes, the bottles being open, it poses a risk. We need to move them. But why not give me the support to move them? Why not help me? I am asking for help. Why not help me? I am saying, which everybody and then granny know, I have problem with waste in this country. I have one problem. And not Joshua, I did some research. We can solve it. Let's talk about schools, businesses, household events. Let's talk about let's make a museum. Let's do Guinness World Book records. Let's do fun things. Let's do a song. Let's get students involved. Let's get the public involved. Let's teach it. I'm saying we have a problem. We have a possible solution to the problem. However, like lots of things, it needs time to be developed and it needs money. Why not help me? You send and clean up order, which the amount of things in John Hughes, it's not even possible for us to move it in 30 days. But me one gangster, me want them move, so I get little money, and we move. We've been moving bottles. Moved 195 bags last week to Antigua Waste Recycling Corporation, and Sharky says we have to wait. Maybe bring some more Monday, because everything takes time. Why? And that is my gripe. My gripe is the government has the potential to help us. It has the resources to help us. It has the potential to develop the program even bigger than what we're thinking. Why not help us? Why are you coming and trying to shut down and dampen something that can help Antigua and Barbuda?
And the sad and depressing thing is, And I'll give it to you from this perspective. When I had to do the wildlife program last year, my city that I was posted in for a month was Atlanta. Now I got to live in Atlanta for about a month. While in Atlanta, I went to a city council meeting because the organization I worked for, the lady used to be a former state senator or whatever. And so she said, oh, let's go to the city council meeting because we work along very well with this particular mayor. I go to the meeting and I meet this interesting individual. His name is JC Sebastian. And, well, he was the deputy mayor. Let me start. He was the deputy mayor. So they call us up and they say, come introduce yourselves. And I say, the guy from Ecuador introduces himself. The people from Guatemala, who the hell he is, introduce themselves. And then I was the last person. I introduced myself. I said my name. I said the country I'm from. And the deputy mayor said, no, when the meeting is over, you stay so I can talk to you. And in the meeting, he comes to me and he says, my name is JC Sebastian. I was born in Villa. And I went to the Princess Margaret School. This gentleman is a politician in the United States. And so I was shocked. I was floored. I was like, what? Why? How? Why? Like, okay, this is interesting or whatever. We had a conversation. In the conversation, I said to him, so why did you leave Antigua? Right? Because I'm like, clearly he's somebody who makes sense and whatever. I was like, why did you leave Antigua? And he said to me, I couldn't deal with it. It's like, what? So me may shock like away. Well, yeah, me had 3 baby mother in 1 year or something. He's like, I couldn't deal with the politics. I couldn't deal with the things just didn't make sense to me, right? And I tell people this all the time. I'm of the opinion that some of the best Antiguans don't live in Antigua. Why do they not live here? Because they're here, they're trying to make a difference, and then they get frustrated.
And then we leave.
And we go somewhere, and wherever we go to, sees our value, sees our worth, and then promotes us to high fame. And then when we reach the point of high fame, our country has the heart to post and say, yes, this Antiguan XYZ is UN da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da. But when the individuals here, trying to make a difference, trying to make an impact, we made it our business to make life horrible. And it's slightly disheartening to me because you have so much young people all across Antigua and Barbuda who are genuinely trying to do amazing things. But they're trying and they're trying and they're trying with little support. And so they just surrender. And so when people say, oh, why are our young people not? And why are our young people not? And why are our young people not? Because when our young people tried, they were vilified. They were made public enemy number 1. And then they just decided, you know what? One out of 2 things. I'm going to leave Antigua, or I'm just going to join the rest of the crowd and just not be bothered. And so whenever I hear people talk about political apathy and, oh, but why is it that Antiguans don't care and so on? I'm just like, because when people try to care,
they got shut down.
And so we all end up in a state where we don't care. Things go miserably wrong. And then we're all here sitting down and looking at one another.
So remember, I want to share publicly. So the 11th of November, I write to Indiva James Henry, and I said to her, the organization has been fortunate to receive grant funding and contributions from esteemed institutions like Sandals Foundation and Jeff Small Grants. Combined, we've received US $98,000 from Sandals Foundation and Jeff Small Grants, which was used for the installation of bins, signs, and other items for the recycling component of the program. To realize our long-term goal for effective waste management and to ensure sustainability of our initiative, we respectfully seek the government's support and engagement. In several meetings over the summer, we would have established the need for partnership and how we will work together to move the contents we collected in 1 year and working together for year 2. So that's 11th November.
Of which year?
2024. Last year. I'm write them again. 18th. Paragraph 1. I would like to let me say that the government of Antigua and Barbuda is a key stakeholder in why we can still operate this school year, and we do not take that lightly. It is with the help of the advance of $60,000, workmen and trucks were workmen and trucks were available to operate. We would like to ensure that you know that the organization does not take it lightly, and you would have introduced us to Ruth Spencer, and that would have pioneered our first grant proposal. The government investment into Good Humans 268 by giving us $60,000 advance and approving our request for 80 is an investment into the disability community. We're asking, okay, give us 60. Remember, tell you then give us 60. It did not work out. So we need to move the contents. We asked 18th November. We asked for $80,000. I want to get the money. So then 27th February, I wrote them in January, but I can't read all the letters. I write the last paragraph. After the meetings over the summer and the commitment made by the Honorable Sir Malwin Joseph, I have decided to take unpaid leave from the government until my transfer is finalized. While I would have taken unpaid leave from the government, the organization would have generated over $15,000 weekly in revenue. I would have been able to be compensated. This compensation would be used to cover my daily living expenses and payments of my loan. The land the bottles are currently sitting on it is in jeopardy of being possessed by the bank. See Appendix 2. The National Solid Waste Management Authority must provide the support needed to move the contents from the land. I am committed to ensuring all the contents we have diverted from the landfill stay out of the landfill, and I am saying again, we are willing to forfeit any revenue we would receive, as while the organization needs financial support, the obligation is for the project is to educate the public about bringing changing the way people see waste. The hurricane season is less than 100 days away. I cannot return to the classroom even if I wanted to receive my salary and save my land, as I would have signed on several dotted lines for $98,000. I am responsible for ensuring the contents are moved from John Hughes and not end up in the landfill. February. Then I write them again. 16th April, last paragraph. As mentioned in the letter dated 27th February 2024, I am committed to ensuring all the contents that we've diverted from the landfill stay out of the landfill. And I'm saying again, we are willing to forfeit any revenue we would receive, as while the organization needs financial support, the objective of the project is to educate the public about begin changing the way individuals see waste. So remember me tell you them willing to get out 20 cents, Hurricane season is upon us. So I am saying, give me support. And I don't want money. So if money are the problem, I don't want money. Because that is not the bigger picture. That is not the bigger goal. And you are telling me, instead of helping, so we are supposed to get the money for our bottles. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, okay, even if you just want your help at this point, even bother pay me, even bother get the money. And you're telling me, because remember, this is in the realm of the Ministry of Health. Instead of us having a conversation, you write me to say move it in 30 days, which is impossible. Then you get on the media and lie. Like what? Like it's not making any sense. It's not making any sense. How are we doing something for Antigua and Barbuda to the betterment of our country? I just the other day they released statements that the cooks on fire. Cooks are always on fire. It's going to always be on fire. If we don't change the way we're managing waste, it's going to always be on fire. We have to begin change. We cannot send food scraps. We cannot send things that can be recycled. We need to be separating all of the batteries. And it needs a heavy educational component. Not going to be perfect, but in the next 5-10 years, we're going to have a system that works. Is it fear? Carnival bothered me the most. That carnival, people just drop them some on the ground and CBH and pay workers to pick them up. We got to change that. Is it fear that you go have an event and you just get on skip and send everything to the landfill? We have to change that. Households have to change how they manage waste. We have to change. We have to begin change. So what I did, we started. It's not perfect. But I am saying, let's work together. Let's work together. But you know why you don't want to work with me? Because you're accustomed to work, man, not working, and me want them for work. So you vex with me that me want them for work. You know, you don't want to work with me because we go Albrecht and we crush clean and dirty back together. I mean, the thing he makes sense, and you know it makes sense, and the people from Albrecht know it makes sense. But I will not change them. We don't change problems because it's been happening for years, and because it's been happening for years, we're not willing to change it, which is crazy, ludicrous.
You've just earned your passport. The unfortunate thing is this is a youth-powered initiative. This is something that has the ability to help Antigua and Barbuda, and left to certain individuals, it would fall and die. And the thing about it is, again, we send home the point here. Because whenever these things happen, the first thing that the individuals are going to say, oh, we're going to crucify the minister, we're going to crucify this.
Malwin innocent.
So here it is, the minister on multiple occasions is saying, I support you, I want you to continue. And he's been Minister of Environment since 2014. So he's been saying, I'm dedicated to environment, I want to help you, I want to support you, I want to support you. And civil servants are civil servanting. What a time to be alive.
Oh, Lord. What a time to be alive.
And then here we are.
And let me tell you now, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing because, again, so October 23rd, I send Mario Bento a picture and I send him videos. Come like, Mario, this is not no sense. Not no sense what we do. And I said to Mario, if a bag has 100 bottles, we take out 20 and wash them and go back and crush those 20 bottles with the 80 bottles that are dirty. Mario doesn't work on the ground at Abrek. Mario Banter says, I see what you're saying. That makes no sense. Let me speak with Devon. Because how systems work, again, like the teachers were striking, I'm talking about this publicly now because I want to know, because we need to talk about it publicly now. If one system, like when you get instructions and the workers feel, after one time workers stop follow instructions and then just do what they want to do. You have to be on the ground to know what is happening on the ground. How would the general manager and the minister of health know that people now work? Mm-hmm. It has to be my responsibility to tell you that they're not working. Because you wouldn't know. If you tell me the men should work from 7 a.m. to 2, you are of the expectation that that is what is happening. When I now tell you that that is not what is happening, you now have the responsibility, because remember me can't do that no, remember now for me work man now. You now have to have the response. You can't fire people just so. You need to write one letter. You need to call them in. You need to have a stern conversation because now I know what happened. But instead of us trying to fix the problem,
you're the problem.
I am the problem.
And so as we look to wrap up the show, because we're just as about 7:32, the question now dawns. So then what happens to Good Humans 268 going forward?
Recycling is 6.67% of the work that we want to do. So the thing that happened is recycling got money. So that is where we've been focused on. I want to give students 34,000 trees. I want to be on an acre of land. I want to do Guinness World Book Records. I gave a child we beg ECAB give away 2 wheelchair today. I beg luxury locations and the port, then go build one ramp. Sir Novell, I want to upgrade Sir Novell to be an accessible school. We have lots more work to do. But like I said in my letters, and I will publicly state, we started this project and we should see it through to the end. So while it might sound, it's not a Joshua Net problem. Antigua have a problem with littering. Let us work together to solve that problem. And from solving that problem, we should be able to give individuals with disabilities jobs. But you see, I see a vision of a cleaner Antigua and Barbuda, educated, more conscious, and made a problem. Because in order for us to get there, and if workman need to work to 2 o'clock, and if they now work, I gotta fire them. And if I have one system where I crush clean and dirty back together, I need to solve the problem there. And we need to get to the place where people are working. Because we're not going to get to the place of a cleaner Antigua and Barbuda, more effective system if people are not working. People have to work. Our government, I'm so glad our Prime Minister himself says so. You see this thing where civil servants now work? Choppiness. Our now shielding no more. And because he also knows in order for our country to go forward,
People have to work.
people have to work. And he said, you don't think it's fair? They don't have a right to work? You don't, so you think it's fair that them, you know, and the man they work, they are breaking, you think it's fair that I give the government the time that they're supposed to give the government? You don't think it's fair? You don't think that's fair? You want to collect your money and not work? How a standard, instead of us trying to all come to the, why do we have two sorting standards in Antigua? Let us talk about it. And I keep saying, I am not at war with the government now. Me want to help. Me want 50 acres of land. Me want me things for do. I people for help. But we will publicly talk about this. I'm not attacking the government. I'm not attacking anyone. All I know is, come, I have proof that I have done what I am supposed to do. Me has so much of proof, right? Sandals has a proof to give us more money. Because I have proven to Sandals and Jeff, you give me this little money, yeah, me done. No, me done what me supposed to do. Y'all didn't do what y'all was supposed to do. You told me continue in December 2023, February 2024, June 2024, August 20. You told me the government, specific national salary. You said that to me. You are failing to do what you are supposed to do, not Joshua Net. You failed to do what you were supposed to do. And I am saying, okay, me till now get paid, like I attack. I want my blood at this point. What?
And then getting a little ticket that says,
Your card's problem.
move them in 30 days. Or we will find you under the Litter Act.
And the crazy part is, they're going to come and move them and then fine me for them using their workmen. And where am I going to get money from for pay, are you? Read at the bottom of the Litter Act, they're going to fine me. What country are we living in? I tell the King's Baton. People then message me just the other day. Me a message Neil Arnie for plan to clean up. Me a try to help Antigua. Put up on the map. I can't get some money now. I can't get some money. Come on, I need some money. For enhance our programs. And instead of trying to help me, you try to tear me down. Like, it's not making sense. It's not making sense. How can somebody be trying to help Antigua and Barbuda? And instead of helping them, you serve them with what? Like you literally pit them a face. I feel like you literally hack up your coal and pit them a face. Crazy.
But here we are. Here we are. So
It's
I'm
like
hoping that the only thing I can hope for is that in short order, the whole matter is rectified, because it is unfortunate. But we look forward to a nice conclusion to it. And we will stay in contact. And I'm sure some updates will pop up as we go along. But it is truly unfortunate. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's show. It's the weekend. Time to relax.
Have a long nap.
Time to sleep. May I go and drink on Gatorade and go right in my bed. Because at this point, I'm not even tired. I'm persuaded I'm dehydrated. Alright? And then for the rest of the next couple of weeks, yeoman service to the public school system. Yeoman service. I think we should go teacher training finally now. But yeoman service.
You're going to actually accept the invite.
Yeah. I think I should at this point. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to have you guys here with us. We are going to, end the show off. We're going to be followed by the pull-up show with Menace and Friends. Music, excitement, drama. Borderline grounds for dismissal, but, we love the excitement. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Kamali Maddox. I've been joined with Miss Jocelyn Francis. And our parting messages, help us help Antigua.
Help us help Antigua.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.